This is the construction of the incenter of a triangle. Once again, we're going to start with a larger triangle so that we have plenty of space. And the incenter of a triangle is the point where all of the angle bisectors intersect. So we're gonna construct the angle bisectors of two of the angles and see where those intersect. So let's set this aside for a second, and really quick we'll review how to bisect an angle. So to do this, we are going to get an angle on our paper, any size angle. Make this side a little bit longer. And remember, bisect means to cut it in half. So if we're bisecting an angle, we're going to end up with two smaller congruent angles. So our first step is, I'm going to turn this around because I'm right-handed, but the first step is that we are going to draw an arc that intersects both sides of our angle. And you don't want your compass setting to be too short or too large, but somewhere kind of in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that arc that intersects both sides of my angle. Then with the same compass setting that I just used, I'm going to put my compass point on the first intersection point and draw another arc through the center of the angle. And then I'm going to move my compass point to my other intersection point and do the same thing, again, with the same size compass setting. And there is my second arc. So my angle bisector is going to go from the vertex of my angle through this intersection point. So there is my angle bisector. I've got two congruent angles. So back to our incenter construction. I'm going to do that for two of the angles of my triangle. Again, it doesn't matter which two. I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to start with the arc that intersects both sides of my angle. I'm going to move my compass point to one of the intersection points, draw the arc through the center of my angle, and do the same thing from the other intersection point. So there's my first angle bisector. I'm going to do this other angle as my second angle bisector. So same steps, arc that intersects both sides of my angle. I'm going to go to the first intersection point, arc through the middle, second intersection point, arc through the middle, and then I'm going to draw my angle bisector. Okay. So we can see where our two angle bisectors intersect. I'm going to call that point I for incenter. Again, when you see incenter, you need to be thinking angle bisector. Okay. So the other thing that we can do is, well, again, we could construct that third angle bisector. It will go through point I as well, but we don't need to. We already know where point I is located. So the other thing that we can do is construct the circle that is inscribed in the triangle. And so that's a circle that's going to be inside, fully inside of the triangle, and is just touching the sides of the triangle. So it's going to kind of look something like this. Now, one of the differences between the incenter and the circumcenter that we did in the other video is that the incenter always has to be inside of the triangle. Now, in order to construct our circle that is inscribed, we actually have one more step. The circle that is inscribed is going to intersect the side of our triangle at its midpoint. So we actually need to construct the perpendicular bisector to find the midpoint of one of the sides of the triangle. And we can do this. We can pick any side of the triangle. I'm going to use this side right here. So there's my perpendicular bisector, and here's my midpoint. So we're going to use I as the center of our circle, and we're going to measure to our midpoint to get our radius. Okay, and then we're going to draw that circle. And there it is. So the circle is completely inside of the triangle, and it's just touching the three sides of the triangle. In fact, the three sides of the triangle are tangent to the circle. And so that's the circle that is inscribed in the triangle. Again, it has that point that is called the incenter as its center. So incenter, angle bisector.